Yo, people, welcome back to another stream. And yeah, it's with again cricket again on the channel. So yeah, be up everyone who has smashed the like and subscribe, right? And it's going to be a good stream today or tonight or morning, wherever you may be in the world. But yeah, now let's kick things off. Oh, love the chat. Be up KFC says hi. Hi KFC. Um yeah. Uh, okay, but yeah. Let's kick things off with of course which was the first game, which was Australia versus New Zealand. We saw Australia absolutely collapse. And New Zealand they prevailed. And it was lovely to see, if you are a New Zealand fan, to see your bitter rivals lose their game, lose and get absolutely obliterated. But what do you think, Manny? Your summary of that game, of course, was New Zealand. They came out with what their two openers. I can't remember the new opener's name. I have never heard of that. What was his name? What's his name?
Finn Allen.
Yeah, Finn Allen. I have never heard of him, but or seen play live. It's the first time. Be up to him. I also know Bournemouth are playing today. Be up. Um, James is 3-1 Bournemouth Sky Sport Watch. I know they kick off. Um, I am saying 2-1 West Ham, but yeah, Bournemouth might sneak a win. We never know. So yeah, Finn Allen and who's that?
Devon Conway.
Yeah, Conway. Of course, they started the innings well. Finn Allen hitting sixes all around the ground and creating havoc for the Australian batters. And then when he went out, it was just a Devon Conway show. Him and Kane Williamson, how they handled that middle period was absolutely incredible. Just touch play, hit the ball into the gaps, and when they could, and when they did, they hit the sixes and they punished the Australian bowlers. And then, of course, Lucky Sen came in later and also smashed a few. Oh no, not Lucky Ferguson. A few. Wait, who's that? Number 4. West. Uh, came out at it. Wait, or I can't remember the names. So,
Yeah, don't worry. Listen, I've got cricket info right now, so I've got you covered, okay?
yeah. Wait, what's this?
Yeah, so as you said, it was Finn Allen and Devon Conway who, started things off at breakneck speed. And
Oh,
then it was Kane Williamson who came in and stabilized things with Conway, and then
yeah,
Glenn Phillips and Jimmy
James
Neesham.
Neeson. James
Yeah,
Neeson.
yeah. Two
That's his name.
sixes in his 26 off 13 balls.
Yeah, and they just cause havoc and wait one sec. And Manny, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the decision by Aaron Finch to bowl first on losing the toss ended up backfiring quite badly because the Australian seamers who started first up, Stark and Hazelwood, weren't really able to get their lines right. And of course, Stark was pulled away after his first over, and then Pat Cummins came in. I think when it came to the bowling attack, it seemed to be a little bit limited. I was a bit surprised that apart from Stoinis and maybe Zampa, there was no one else in that lineup who was willing to turn their arm over. Maybe Glenn Maxwell could have bowled a few overs. Mitchell Marsh is also a more than decent all-rounder. Sometimes when it comes to having a bowling attack for a T20 game, you've got to be a little bit more. You've got to offer more in terms of variety sometimes, as a means of just making the attack a little bit more well-rounded. Even the leg spinner Adam Zampa came in, took a wicket, but for the most part, the batsmen were able to have the measure of him. And whatever the reasons were for Finch to bowl first on winning the toss, it's clear that the bowlers didn't really take advantage of those conditions. And of course, with Finn Allen and Devon Conway starting things off magnificently before Allen missed out on his half century by being bowled, it was clear that New Zealand were looking set to build a good total. And obviously, those batsmen who are seasoned in limited overs cricket knew quite well how to pace their innings and play their shots. And in the end, 200 was a perfectly fair score.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What What do you think was wrong with uh, with with Australia, especially the batting, of course? Was, what do you think went wrong for them? What, because you saw just them. We saw the Australian bowlers struggled, but why did the New Zealand bowlers do so well? Do you think? What?
It's a question really of how Bolt and Southey were able to find the right line. And of course, it's not for nothing that they refer to Trent as the lightning bolt. And Southey is also a bowler with many, many years of experience playing in um, limited overs cricket. He knows these conditions quite well. I think, unfortunately, when the ODI World Cup was in 2015, if I'm not wrong, or was it yeah, 2015. That was when it was. Southey never really got that much of a look at in the team with other bowlers doing really well. But now he seems to be established as one of New Zealand's main bowlers, and he got the lines they just got the line spot on. They never allowed Australia to play their shots, and it must be said, of course, that David Warner's dismissal was very, very, very fortuitous. Unfortuitous, of course, if you're an Australian fan, to sort of have the ball go off his thigh, go up high, hit his bat, and then come down and hit the stumps is as freakish a dismissal as you can get. And I suppose it's fair to say that the New Zealanders made their luck with the way they batted in the first innings. And obviously, they were trying their best to make sure that Australia's uh, openers didn't get the start that they wanted. David Warner is, of course, one of the most aggressive openers you will ever see in limited overs cricket, be it in one-day internationals or T20 internationals. And of course, there was a lot of pressure on Aaron Finch to do well and justify his decision to bowl first. After the first few overs of pace bowling, then came the spinners. That could perhaps have been an opportunity for them to, start hitting out a little bit, because I didn't really see Santner doing much damage. Little did I know that those Australian batsmen who got out to him were guilty, quite frankly, of throwing their wickets away. And then, of course, we had Lockie Ferguson coming in and tying up another end while also getting a wicket himself. The dangerous Matthew Wade was never allowed to get settled. So with wickets falling all around him, Maxwell was pretty much, swimming against the tide. He tried his best to hit out as much as he could using reverse sweeps and a few switch hits, and I think he was bowled by the leg spinner Ish Sodhi trying to attempt a reverse sweep. And when he went, that it was all over bar the shouting. Of course, Pat Cummins came in and wielded the long handle, and he had some decent support, but they were never going to survive the full 20 overs once it came down to the tail, and the tail was, after Wade, a little bit long. I mean, of course, Cummins and Stark could back quite a bit, and Cummins in particular was very adept at using the long handle, but you couldn't expect the tail enders to pull the chestnuts out of the fire. And it was really just a matter of time before New Zealand wrapped it up. So New Zealand deserved credit for exerting the pressure, and Australia just crumbled. They gave their wickets away. They weren't able to adapt, and the end was near. Simple as that.
Yeah, Definitely, I agree with that. I just think Australia missed a trick some way. But of course, last T20 World Cup, uh, uh, we saw them do exactly the same, got thumping by England in the first game. But then they changed their strategy and came back. So, yeah. Mm, England winning the World Cup, says Wolf, in your dreams, mate. In your dreams. I saw
Ah,
the match in bold.
England are ranked second. They've got a fine all-round team. You
Uh,
never know. Do
I
not write
think.
them off. Write them off at your peril, son.
I'll write them off. Yeah, says Trent Boyd and then five emojis. Finn Allen was a monster, yeah. That's why no more watch alongs. If you're on about the football watch alongs, um, they will be coming back, but just finding just as said they 2 hours. I know the cricket, but the cricket is more early in the day, which is helpful. But if you're on about the football watch along set, will come back this weekend, and yeah, probably no Champions League watch alongs, unless I can maybe fit in Chelsea watch along the early kickoff in the Champions League, but I'll see if you're on about that too. But yeah, nothing really else to
Mm.
say to that comment. But yeah, big up Wolf in the chat, big up KFC, as always. Yeah, so that was the first match. Then hold on, I'm in this.
Yeah, just before we go to the next match, I think Australia will have to make some changes because looking at the squad, they left out the likes of Ashton Agar, Cameron Green, and Kane Richardson. Obviously, Richardson was an extra seamer who would have batted low in the order, but certainly someone like uh, a Cameron Green, a batting all rounder, could have lent quite a little bit more to proceedings. And Steve Smith, the former Test captain, was also a rather surprising omission. I actually think he could potentially come back into the team, and he might possibly replace Adam Zampa, who was a leg spinner. Stephen Smith can bowl some break bowling himself, and Australia are going to have to strengthen their batting order, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, now the next game was of course was your beloved England. Yeah. Um, then Afghanistan versus Afghanistan. Of course, England bowled Afghanistan out for 112. Oh, but England, like India, made a meal out of that wrong chase. Um, nice because losing 5 wickets, chasing only 113/112. You're, you're, I don't know what to say, but you're taking that to
Yeah, I
to
mean,
what? You just taking it lightly. Jeez.
it's not a question of taking it lightly. I mean, obviously, I knew that Afghanistan would provide England a tough game, and it just goes to show that when it comes to games like this, form does go out the window. So I'm not about to, you know, sound the alarm bells because we lost 5 wickets chasing 113. But here's the thing: obviously when it seems to me that when it comes to these night matches in the tournament, chasing becomes a little bit difficult unless conditions are favorable for batting. And clearly England's bowlers were magnificent. Special tip of the hat to Sam Curran, son of course of the late and great Zimbabwean international Kevin Curran, who also played county cricket for Gloucestershire and Northamptonshire and was for a period of time Zimbabwe's coach. And his sons are now continuing his legacy, albeit playing in England. And his brother Tom has also represented England, and Ben is also playing in the first class scene. So for Surrey, so good to see Sam doing well as he did, and obviously he was able to bowl with a good pace and a decent line, and a left arm seamer will be an asset. And Ben Stokes coming back to play, opened the bowling, got 2 wickets. The seamers definitely look good. I was under the impression that Reece Topley would be a bit of a loss, but with Sam Curran coming in, it's really a bonus. And of course, Curran can be trusted to hit well. Obviously, among the batsmen, most of them never really got going. I know Ibrahim Zadran, and Usman Ghani uh, did um, did quite well. Run a ball knocks, stabilize things, but nobody was there at the other end to really help kick on and post a competitive total. And 112 was really meat and drink. But we also knew that the bowlers would be determined to come at us, and with the likes of Faruqi, Mujibur Rahman, and Rashid Khan in the team. I know you're excited, Hannah, about Rashid Khan, maybe performing a miracle, but it was a bit too much to ask. And of course, despite no one in that team getting to 30, Liam Livingston did have a 21 ball 29. It was a fairly routine affair, but I think England also know that there are some aspects of their game in which they can improve. And certainly, uh, the Australian coach of England, Matthew Mott, will have a few words to say. And interestingly enough, Afghanistan is being coached right now by the ex England batsman Jonathan Trott, who South Africans will know very well from his long first class career at Western Province before coming to England to play for Warwickshire and, of course, earning an England Test cap. So Afghanistan can perhaps cause one or two surprises in the tournament. England, I think, had a bit of a stuttering start in the way, but I'm sure they'll get into their stride. I mean, if you're confident of Australia recovering, then surely some confidence should be there for England to do better.
Yeah, definitely. Um, and it seems like Wolf is hooked. Just found out Canada's cricket league and national team apparently low. I'm hooked on the sport. It's like baseball, but simple and fun. Yeah, it's definitely it's shorter, um, shorter. But money KFC asks again the question: who's going to win the World Cup? If you watch the first stream, I said Pakistan. Uh, or New Zealand. Pakistan or New Zealand, that's my favorite to win it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just a minute, Hannah, just a minute.
yeah,
Yes,
no,
Max.
no, no
Hello?
worries. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Sorry about that. I'm back. Yeah, so
yeah,
to answer KFC's question, I would say that it will be between I'd have to choose between one team from Group One and one team from Group Two. I do think that despite their very narrow win, India should be right up there as contenders. I think once now that they've gotten Pakistan out of the way, if they could beat South Africa, they should quite rightly be considered contenders. And it should probably be between India and England who will end up winning.
and I don't mind the India day, but the England, come on, really, really, England.
Yes, really. We're but you're talking about the top two teams in the world in terms of form, and obviously England are finding their
Yeah,
way
four
to
means
get
nothing
wins.
in the World Cup. Four means
Yes,
absolute, just a player.
form is absolutely means absolutely nothing. I completely agree, but I believe England do have the players to shine in Australia, certainly in the conditions. And you can wag your finger as much as you want, son, but you know that England are in with a shout, and I'm installing them as my favourites, co-favourites, if you will.
Okay. Wolf says New Zealand will win the World Cup. Yeah. Come on.
They have a
Okay,
chance.
and of course, South Africa. Come on, the Proteas. Come on. But I don't know if we will even get out of the group because screw you, Zimbabwe. Screw you, you little bastards. But
Hey,
we'll get.
come on, that's not fair. You were cheering for them to make the Super 12, and now you're tossing them aside. Shame on you.
Yeah, we will get onto why I'm doing that. But then, of course, Sri Lanka got trashed by Ireland. Um,
Wrong way round. Ireland got thrashed by Sri Lanka.
Oh yeah, sorry. Ireland got thrashed by Sri Lanka. Sorry, sorry. Which him is mine supporting. He's supporting the
Yeah,
rubbish that is England.
they're not rubbish. They've, unlike South Africa, they have won an ODI World Cup and a T20 World Cup. Wind your neck in, son. I know I think you have won a Champions Trophy before, but that was in the time of Hansi Cronje. You weren't even born then.
I don't. We
But
haven't even won a World Cup. It's
no,
like
no,
England. We haven't won
yeah,
a World Cup. We haven't. We haven't.
of course we won in 2019. How could you forget that? And taking a look at
Ah,
the
no, no, you don't. When you cheat, you
no, we
cheated.
didn't. No,
You
we didn't.
cheated. You cheated.
I'm
Empires.
I'm gonna let Wilf have his perspective on that, and we'll leave it at that. So, taking a look at the Sri Lankan team, obviously, given that they had to go into the playoffs to get to the Super 12, I'm sure they're determined now to make the most of their time. And obviously, when it came to the bowling, every single bowler. There were six bowlers in that innings. They chipped in with wickets and conceding as few runs as possible. The economy rate the highest economy rate was 7.25, which is really good under the circumstances, and it just goes to show that aside from Sterling and Harry Tector, none of the batsmen were able to get to grips with the Sri Lankan seamers and spinners, and again, they lasted the full 20 overs, credit to them, but their total was never going to be enough. And especially once Kushal Mendes and Dhananjay De Silva started and got the ball rolling, there was only ever going to be one winner. And I think Sri Lanka will be disappointed to have lost one wicket. But a 15 over win absolutely steamrolled the Irish, who never were able to quite get into the scheme of things. But Ireland can still spring a shock. So, especially given that they are in England's group, we had better watch out.
Yeah, yeah. Um, KFC. Rules is rules. There's no cheating. Come on, that. His, he wasn't in. His bat wasn't in. We all know his bat was in the air. The hit where it hit before the bat was even grounded. When it was grounded at the end, the ball hit the wicket. The umpires made the biggest mistake, and yeah, we move. But yeah. That's my piece. Now we move into one of the most entertaining matches you will ever see in the cricket, in the history of cricket, I believe. If- and that's India versus Pakistan. And what a match that was! You of course know with their watch songs um, to that. Um, but Jeez, what's happened? What's happened? Now, first of all, how did Pakistan bottle that? First of course, we know they didn't start well off the bat, but they just, I wouldn't say grew into the innings, but they slowly got into the game. There was a period where um where what Sean what the third or fourth batter was like for 23 balls or something like that at the non-striker end with his partners just going out, hitting sixes and fours, and going out, throwing away the wickets.
That was
Absolutely,
Iftikhar Ahmed who did that.
yeah. Oh yeah. Pakistan equals cricket. Tottenham. Uh, I think you can say that in a way because they have bottled it a few times. But then you can say that about South Africa. You can say that about New Zealand. You can say that about a lot of teams actually. Um,
England too, I will accept.
it, yeah, I wouldn't say England. Maybe yeah. Before I was born, they probably bottled it that I didn't see, but What I saw, South Africa, New Zealand in the ODI World Cup, Pakistan battled it a few times against India and other big teams like England. Who would forget that match where they absolutely thrown it away? It's England. But yeah, so yeah, and then Pakistan they bowled, they got Indian pressure 81 for 4, and then Kohli, King Kohli as they call him, he went on a rampage. He destroyed every ball he saw, whacking it for 6, whacking it for 4. For Hardik Pandya didn't really get into the game much, but he contributed with a 40 runs. Magnificent stuff. But they were still behind. They were still behind. They needed 28 8 from 8 balls. Then I don't know why I said it, but then I decided to say if India want to win, they need to hit 2 sixes from the last 2 balls. And guess what King Kohli did? He went and smacked 2 sixes, great sixes, and wow, King Kohli, 16 of 6. You're thinking, surely, I know Nawaz as isn't there. He hasn't performed well. The pitch isn't really made for left arm spinners, but surely he can defend 16. Then miraculously he gets 2 wickets into over, but concedes like 14 runs from 5 balls. Then all he needs to do is don't bowl a wide or get smashed or get hidden into a gap. All he needs to bowl is just let Ashwin block the ball. But no, I am Nawaz. I can't handle pressure. Oh yeah, I'm going to bowl a wide to cost my team the biggest loss of the century. Well, but yeah, absolutely rubbish. Then he goes and bowls a wide, and guess what? Ashwin does what he does best and gets a boundary slash four, whatever you want to call it.
Clear,
Screw you,
clear,
Nawaz.
clearly, I understand that you were cheering for Pakistan and you made Mohammad Nawaz your clown of the week. I will say this: the decision of Rohit Sharma to bowl first, unlike with Aaron Finch, was perfectly justified because the Indian bowlers did their job, and in particular, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Ashdeep Singh stuck to their task of bowling a brilliant line, and they got the ball to swing magnificently. That swing, in fact, was what did for Babar Azam, who got a golden duck in that innings. The Pakistan captain, obviously, having a dreadful start, and of course, the biggest fear was that when with their opening partnership back in the dugout early, or the pavilion early rather. This isn't baseball now. Come on. Pressure would have been put on the middle order batsman, but credit must, of course, be given to Shan Masood for playing the anchor role. And then when Iftikhar came in, he took it upon himself to smite the left arm spinner for 3 sixes to get to his 50 quite quickly. And certainly it was a case of some good late order hitting, which propelled Pakistan to what proved to be a quite competitive total. Now, I knew, of course, that in the day and night game at the MCG, chasing would perhaps be difficult. But when you have a batting lineup as experienced as India's, you just get the feeling that their experience would have guided them through. Of course, it was a nail biter and a half, and a lot of critics will say that it shouldn't have had to get to that. And Kohli, in fact, deserves a great deal of credit for steadying the ship brilliantly after India themselves had a dreadful start, losing both their openers early. So you could say it was a bit of a carbon copy. And where Pakistan started to lose the match in many ways was when their spinners pretty much let uh, India off the hook. And the reason why I was angry at seeing Mohammad Nawaz bowl that final over was because in the over before that, when he bowled, he was also tonked for 20 runs, including three sixes. So I just knew that he wasn't, as a left arm spinner, he wasn't able to get his line right or the flight correct. He wasn't really able to threaten the batsman as such. And he was given that last over. And obviously, certainly that no ball, which he ended up bowling, cost them big time because on the free hit, he ended up bowling Virat Kohli, but because he couldn't be out there able to run for three. It was just a case of Pakistan's inexperienced fast bowlers crumbling under the pressure, and Kohli also intelligently playing those bowlers quite well. And those two sixes which Kohli hit off Haris Rauf in that over, that really swung the pendulum back India's way. You just knew at that point that there could only be one winner. And if that had gone to a tie, I think on the balance of play, it would have been very harsh on India because not only did they bowl magnificently early on, even if they did leak runs later on the innings, which could be expected because the lower order batsmen would come in and use the long handle. Shaheen Afridi was doing quite well. Even Rauf himself smacked that beautiful six off over square leg and then helped the team get to near 160. But again, India also didn't have the best of starts, and they also lost wickets. But as long as you have Virat Kohli in your team, you simply can't relax. And that was probably his best ever T20 innings. And again, critics will say that it shouldn't have had to go the distance, but again, this is cricket. This is T20 cricket. There'll be a lot of thrills, there'll be a lot of spills, and it was just a privilege to watch that game and commentate on it. And a very special mention as well to PB Talks, who came into the studio and had a bit of a chat with me during the mid innings break before leaving. He also, Hanno, happens to be a Chelsea fan and does watch-alongs and previews for Chelsea games, along with supporting his favorite Indian sports teams. And maybe the two of you can get together and have a collaboration, do a preview of a Chelsea match sometime. His YouTube channel is PB Talks. But again, that was a classic game, one for the ages. And I just think if Pakistan had won, it would decidedly have been very harsh on India because India were just more experienced. They won the big moments, and I think on the balance of play, they played at least marginally better and deserved to win. But Pakistan are obviously they can take a lot of positives from this, but they are also going to have to take a look at the composition of their squad and make some changes. And clearly, their bowling attack will need to look at themselves and see what they can do better. As a left arm spinner myself, I can tell you that the worst thing you can do when you're bowling to a right-handed batsman is bowl straight. You want to keep a somewhat tight line at the off stump or a little bit wide to the off stump, cramp the batsman for room and not and force him to do whatever he can to play your shots and then to play his shots. You can't allow him room to stick his leg out and smack you back down the ground.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just feeling nervous. That's why. Why? Just one ball. One ball. That's all they needed to do. Um, but yeah, I'm just going to uh, go. So there's photos of Baba Azam saying some, or they put in quotes of what they said. Nobody should point fingers out. Nobody should point out fingers on one person. This should not happen. Not in this scene, especially in Nawaz. Don't worry. uh, um, just funny to be honest. Just fan says beer, pioneer beer, and money, and the chat beer. Just fan. Wolf says the only king I know is Trent Bolt. Who the hell is Virat Kohli? Beer red. Respect Virat Kohli. Werewolf understands metal. I am. Make me Madonna. It will be the greatest honor of my life. Uh, oh. Now do it. No, and money be up. I'm suffering with flu. I feel so weak, like also spate. That's just funny. Yeah, Greg, hopefully you feel better. Um, and yeah, be up. Yeah, you're awesome when you shoutest. Yeah, just as he hopes Greg gets better. Um, keep it on that like button, people. Wolf, just shush. You're celebrating a 1-1 draw with a team you said you were going to beat 7-0? Not even 3-0. You said you're going to beat us 7-0. Why are you celebrating a draw then? Come on, it doesn't make sense. Wolf, come on, Wolf. Then yeah, Craig's suggestion. Thank you much. Appreciated. This is Craig, of course. Craig's is thank you to Chelsea fan. And yeah. Mm, yeah, so now the next game was, of course, first Bangladesh and almost losing to the Netherlands. Almost. It was close run chase once again.
I wouldn't exactly
And
call that a close run chase, but go
why?
ahead. Keep talking. Tell me why you think it was close.
I would say that it was close. Of course, I didn't watch the match, but looking at the results, Bangladesh only won by 9 runs. Netherlands gets 155. I'm stopping Bangladesh getting over 150. I think Netherlands did quite a good job to make themselves proud. Oh, they could, if just 9 runs short, come on. 10 runs
Yeah,
short. Definitely was close, in my opinion.
yeah.
Especially
Well,
Netherlands, they did a great job trying to stop Bangladesh. But yeah.
yeah. I mean, obviously, the Netherlands could look back on conceding a few runs in the Bangladesh innings. Obviously, I do get what you're saying. I mean, the Netherlands for their part bowled quite well. Certainly not allowing the Bangladeshi batsmen to really forge two big partnerships. I think their opening partnership of 43 and the partnership of 44 almost near the end sort of carried them to the total. But aside from Atif Hussain, none of the other batsmen really were able to distinguish themselves or really get going. It was a case of coming in, playing a few shots, and then getting out when they needed them to stay the course. And of course, that is a credit to the Dutch bowlers. But when it came to their batting, I mean, I think there were two runouts in the innings, and that sort of put paid to many of their chances because runouts, Hanno, will always be costly in terms of the fact that they could be easily avoided. But in addition, you lose a wicket, and certainly a wicket of a top batsman in the team. And certainly with Max O'Dowd and Tom Cooper getting run out, it didn't help matters. Colin Ackerman playing beautifully for his 62, but never had any support. Two golden ducks for Vikramjit Singh and Bastian delayed at the top. And you could see that it was a very disjointed sort of innings. And the captain, Scott Edwards, tried a bit, but couldn't do very much. What was really surprising was Paul van Meekeren, their number 11, coming in and playing some terrific shots in his innings, 3 4s and a 6 in his 24 off 14 balls at better than 170. And I think it's fair to say, though, that the reason why it looks close is because of the margin. But when you take a look at the fact that the overs are very less, it's fair to say that, again, if the Netherlands had won, it would have been very harsh on the Bangladeshi bowlers, who clearly were the better all-round side. And Taskin Ahmed, they're chipping in with 4 of 25, easily the pick of their bowlers. Hassan Mahmood being very economical too. Um, the Netherlands just couldn't get their stride, and although later on they did threaten to steal it, again it would have been very harsh. So again, Netherlands are proving that they have a good, a fine cricketing heritage and some good, and they're lending some good value to the tournament. They are pretty much quite a good team. I was very surprised that Roelof van der Merwe, the former South African international, was left out of this lineup. I think he will probably come in for the next game and lend some strength with regard to his bowling and his batting. So some work to do for the Netherlands, but I think they should get a shock win and maybe do a bit more damage. And Bangladesh also will need to take a look at where they can do better, but they've started with a win, so I'm sure they're not going to complain.
Yeah, and now it's South Africa versus Zimbabwe. Of course, the match was shortened due to rain, 9 overs. Now, South Africa starting well, of course, first of all, bowling out Zimbabwe for measle with what 71 runs, or not bowling them out. They completed their overs, but then South Africa 51 after 3 overs. Quinton Cook on an absolute rampage. Then the rain comes. 8 minutes left. Oh, sorry, no, before the rain comes. Last over, or in those 3 overs, most of the 3 overs, Zimbabwe, time wasting after time wasting, just taking time, slowing the game down, and that's not what you want. We had almost like 30 minutes to eat that many runs. Impossible task almost, and we got there. That's why I'm putting shame on Zimbabwe's name. Of course, you got an injury to your body. Don't want to get another injury. You have 4 matches left of the tournament, but just get on with the game. I know they tried. They did get onto the. They did get on with the game, but still, just try a bit harder, just a bit quicker. Because they wasted like 10 minutes or 5 minutes almost on the one Zimbabwe player's injury, bowler's injury. Just take him off, bring on your 12 man. You have enough players. And when he's fit and ready, bring him back on. It's not like he's going to lose any overs. Come on, please. And that's the main thing. I don't blame the umpires or anything like that because they can't do anything. But that's just my main thing. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
But
like,
and
g-
and if South Africa got that points, we would be third on points with India and Bangladesh. We would be 2 points ahead of Pakistan, which would put us in a brilliant position and to qualify from the group, which many people don't expect us to do because we got the likes of Pakistan and India in our group. If we just got 2 points there, with 2 points clear, and we face Bangladesh next, which we should beat. I'm not saying we will, but we should beat them. We beat them with 4 points. If Pakistan beat, I think Zimbabwe and Netherlands, who they face, next, we still 2 points clear. We're in a great position to qualify from the group. group. We can't. We can even lose to to um to India if we want. We just need to keep a better um what do you call it
run
um
rate.
run rate than Pakistan, and we through. But now because we didn't get 2 points, we forced to potentially beat India. We need to beat India at this point. We needed to beat them when we were on 0 points. But now because we're only 1 point ahead of Pakistan, Pakistan didn't get a win. We now have to beat India, which is one of the most difficult stuff to do. Of course, we have a good record against India at home in South Africa against them in T20. But that's just what I'm on about. If we gotten the 2 points, that's why I'm putting the disrespect and it's on Zimbabwe's name. Absolutely disrespectful. Wasting so much time and destroying our game. We should have won, like Wolf said in the earlier comment. We should have won, and we should have gotten our points. I don't even care about the rain. Come on, just please. That's all I care about. Just like, come on.
Yeah, I get I get where you're coming from with Zimbabwe's time wasting, and obviously, I think they're talking about. I think the bowler in question is Richard Ngarava, right, from Zimbabwe, who had slipped and had to be taken off.
Yeah. Uh,
Right. Yeah. So basically, David Houghton, the Zimbabwean coach, was absolutely seething at the decision to play the game, but the rain because the rain was growing heavier. The conditions weren't right to play, in his opinion. The outfield was slippery, and when the obviously with the decision being made to play the game, that risk was there to be taken. And here's the thing: Houghton was absolutely angry with the injury, saying that the bowler was in the changing room with ice strapped to his ankle. He can't obviously bowl at the moment, so I think it's fair to say that Zimbabwe aren't exactly in the best of positions either. I get what you're saying about South Africa, and I will come to them. And I suppose it's for me, since I wasn't able to see the match, given that I was busy working. I was keeping tabs on it though, and it did seem that rain was playing a bit of a role. Unfortunately, I couldn't really watch much of it, and I mean, maybe they had some reasons for wanting to take as much time as they did. Maybe they wanted to really assess the injury and see if he was in any way really fit to carry on. And that may have been some time taken. But also looking at the South African point of view, I believe when Quinton de Kock came out to bat, he obviously came out to bat with the purpose of, bashing everything. And what was surprising, in fact, was that the captain, Bavuma, who hasn't been in the best of form, was sent out to bat. And he, obviously, with kind of de Kock batting well, Bavuma never really got that much of a look in, but it would have probably showed some intent to try to go in with perhaps a more aggressive batsman instead of Bavuma to knock off the runs. But of course, Boucher said that given that he was a big part in that washout in 2003, which saw South Africa exit the World Cup on their home soil, it was at least better for him that and the team that they had it early on and not later on in the tournament. So look, obviously, when it comes to this result, it just doesn't really suit everyone, but. No results such as this are there for a lot of people to take. I do remember when we played in 2003, we didn't go to play in Zimbabwe, and that obviously cost us in terms of the points we could have earned, and we ended up not qualifying for the Super Sixes ourselves. While embarrassingly, Kenya qualified among other teams instead of us. So these are things that South Africa will have to take, and the challenge for them will be to improve the composition of their team and try and attack Pakistan and try and attack India and see how well they can do. It is, of course, it would, of course, under the circumstances, be harsh to say that South Africa should be blamed if they don't qualify for uh, semi-finals. But you know, you play the hand you've been dealt, and I do feel sympathy for South Africa, but just goes to show that you could never prepare for such inclement weather. And all around, if the conditions were that terrible, then the match really shouldn't have been allowed to go ahead, and maybe this controversy would have been avoided. Hanno, are you there? Looks as though he's not there and he's muted his microphone. So, with that out of the way, yeah, so obviously that was the second match that was played today, and clearly it didn't go to plan for them. So now we're going to go to the series and the matches that are upcoming, and we will take a look at what we can possibly expect. So on the 25th of October, one match which will be played is between Australia and New Zealand, with the match yet to begin. Australia, of course, coming off that demoralising defeat to New Zealand. Finch has been trying to increase the positivity and see if South Africa could, I mean, Australia could recover from that. And one thing I will say, in my opinion, is that he is going to have to look at the composition of his squad. It means that he will have to drop Adam Zampa and bring Steve Smith in, because Smith can bowl some good leg spin himself, while at least being able to lengthen the batting order rather than going in with a tail of four bowlers, even if one or two of them can hold the long handle. And hopefully he'll make a better decision if and when he does win the toss. As for Sri Lanka, they've had the best possible start they could have, and they can only really go forward from here. But Australia will present a very tough test for them, and it will be interesting to see how their seamers will cope against the Australian batsmen, who are known for being aggressive. Yeah. So I don't know if you heard what I had to say about the South African team. All I'm saying right now is basically the ball's in their court. And in my opinion, with conditions being that bad at the Bellerive Oval in Hobart, maybe the match shouldn't have been allowed to go ahead at all. What do you say to that?
Definitely, the match should have stayed there. For me, I just think it's absolute disgraceful what they did. Zimbabwe time wasting thing. So no, I agree. I agree.
Because I
That
mean, obviously the
I
bowler
just
was injured. The bowler was injured due to the slippery conditions in the outfield. So I think when they made the decision to play that game, they should have been aware of the risks. So I mean, in many cases, it was bad form all around. And if Zimbabwe knew what they were doing and were deliberately time wasting, I'd like to see, in retrospect, them being docked a few points. I mean, maybe it won't impact them because I can't see them qualifying for the semi-finals anyway. Hanno?
yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, now Australia versus Sri Lanka. For me, if there should be a routine win for Australia, I'm going Australia by uh, uh, a 10 to 24 runs win or 3 to 5 wickets winning, and 5 or 5 to 9
Yeah, so
balls
that's how.
remaining.
Yeah, so you're very specific with your predictions, are you? Very nice, very nice, very nice. So for me, I should also go for an Australian win, and as I've said, they should look to drop their leg spinner Adam Zampa and bring Steve Smith in, who can bowl some decent leg break and who has been successful, and he can at least lengthen the batting order. Um,
Yeah.
I'm also going for Australia to win. I will go for a uh, if they're batting first, Australia should win by 15 to 20 runs. If they're batting second, I will go for a uh, 5 or 6 wicket margin of victory with less than an over to spare.
Okay, so you going what? All that's. I'm just going off the predictions I have here. Let's let me
Yeah.
share my predictions so then you can. So hold on. So you guys might hear a bit of an echo. There you guys can see my prediction. So comfortable is 10 to 24 runs. Narrow is the. Can you see that money? There you go.
What?
Look at the what's written on the black part.
It'll be tight. Australia will only just defend their total, or if chasing, will reach the target with hardly any wickets or balls to spare.
Then there's a question stuff there down below. So I'm going with comfortable, easy, brushing money. What are you going with?
Yeah, it should be a comfortable win. I mean, as I said, it'll be
Okay, so
between
you're
20 to
going same as
it'll
me. The
Yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah. So it'll be a comfortable win, between 15 to 20 runs if Australia batting first, and if Australia bowling first, and they should win with 5 or 6 wickets to spare, but with very few balls remaining.
Now, England, Ireland, I'm just going to be straight up. Easy England one.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
can't look beyond any. Can't look anywhere beyond an England win here. I think England's bowlers are in good form. Ireland's batsmen are, struggling to get stand up to be counted. Aside from maybe Tector and Sterling and maybe one or two others, I don't see the batsmen doing too well. And it's a far cry from the Irish teams of years gone by when the likes of Kevin O'Brien were capable of destroying attacks and, of course, beating England with a magnificent century in the 2011 World Cup. So, yeah, an easy win for England. I'd say 8 or 9 wickets if England are bowling first. And if England are batting first, then 40 to 50 runs with 10 balls remaining.
So yeah, you're going thrashing in that thrashing area.
Not the thrashing necessarily, but certainly an easy win.
Yeah. And now we move on to New Zealand versus Afghanistan. And New Zealand, they should win this. I'm going for uh, easy win also. Should be.
Yeah, it should be an easy win, definitely. And yeah, I don't think I
Yeah.
can comment on that. I think Afghanistan will be dependent on Rashid Khan to try and weave his magic, but the batsmen, I mean, the Kiwi batsmen know how to play spin very well. They're also very adept at playing fast bowling. And I just can't see anywhere beyond a very easy um, Afghanistan win to the point, almost to the point of it being a thrashing, but not quite.
Yeah. And now we move on to South Africa versus Bangladesh. Going to say South Africa, but I'm going with a narrow one.
Ooh.
I I am always scared when South Africa face Bangladesh that they might be upset, but yeah, I'm just going narrow. It might be more of an easy one, but I'm backing South Africa. What do you think, man?
I'm backing South Africa too, but I think it'll be comfortable because obviously Bangladesh made a bit of heavy weather against the Netherlands, and if South Africa can get their bowling in form, they should definitely challenge Bangladesh in many ways. I think Bangladesh do have the better spin bowling attack, but clearly South Africa's fast bowlers are a lot stronger and really can hit the ground, hit the deck really hard. And obviously, when it comes to batting, with Quinton de Kock in good form, they should do very well. But Bavuma will obviously have a bit of a role to play. He needs to get into some semblance of form. And I think Boucher will be ruthless enough to decide that if Bavuma can't really hit the ground running, he might have to be dropped. So it should be a comfortable win, though, for South Africa.
Yeah. Netherlands versus India. I'm going India thrashing one.
Me too, me too, me too.
And Pakistan. I don't know.
Easy win for
Easy.
Pakistan.
Uh, oh, I'm going to go thrashing. But yeah.
Wow, you are confident, aren't you? I think also look out for Sikandar Raza for Zimbabwe because he was, of course, born in Pakistan and spent his childhood there and went to university in Glasgow. But then, of course, the family had moved to Zimbabwe and he has become a settled member there. But obviously, Pakistan is in his blood. He speaks fluent Urdu and certainly has been the form all rounder. I just think, though, that Zimbabwe will be a bit too dependent on Craig Irvine and Raza and maybe Sean Williams and the likes of Chakabva and one or two others. Whereas Pakistan, this is a challenge for them. They've got to really get their act together, and Zimbabwe are the best opportunity for them to really, make sure they do well. And Pakistan will have to make a few changes.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, just looked at something quickly. So the next thing, stream will be on Thursday. Um, Thursday night, previewing the round three games, names, and yeah, that's all we have to say. I
When are
think.
Pakistan and Zimbabwe playing? Are they playing on Friday?
Uh, wait, hold on. Let me check. Let me just quickly check. Thursday, 1 p.m. my time. One.
Okay, so I should be free on Friday, so I would definitely like to do a watch along for a Friday game if possible.
Yeah, we can sort out. No, sorry, it's on Thursday. It's
Yeah, so
Thursday.
like I said, I'm free on Friday, not Thursday, but Friday I'll be
Um,
free.
what? Let me see. What are the other games? Round three games. They should be interesting games. Oh, Friday, Australia versus England. Oh,
Ashes clash. Oh boy.
that's going to be a cracker. And
I've got
then,
to do that. We've got to do that. We've got to do
yeah.
that.
And Sunday we also got to do South Africa, India.
Yes, definitely.
I don't care about
Or as you would say, definitely.
I don't care about football. That's no. Screw football. Screw you. Like, let me just check what football is on that time. Early kickoff.
Right.
Leicester City, Manchester City. Who cares about that? Who
Yeah, but
cares?
there is a question being asked. Unai Emery coming back to the Premier League as Aston Villa manager. You know, to be honest, Craig, I'm really surprised that Emery would want to leave Villarreal. I know that they're not exactly doing too well in La Liga at the moment, but to just up and leave in the middle of the season, I really don't know if he'd be tempted to come back. And maybe after his experience with Arsenal, he might probably say, uh, gracias, pero no gracias. Thank you, but no thank you.
I think that's a good appointment for Villa. To be honest, I think that's a good appointment.
Well,
And
tactically, he is tactically
he
smart,
has
but
worked at small clubs in the Premier League, so should be used to it.
that was a cheap shot.
Lovely stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and of course he took that small club to UEFA Cup, the Europa League final, and we lost to you, who are
God, I
frankly, no bigger than us. So wind your neck in, yeah. And of course,
God
2020 FA Cup, we beat you.
pain.
So yeah, wind your neck in.
God's paint. So no European Cup, and thank you. Okay, so for Friday, as just watch along, I won't be on it. Manu will cover it. I will be at. Oh wait, no, actually, hold on. If everything goes to plan, I might join for after an hour's play. I might join for the second, maybe for the second innings. I can join, maybe. But that's Friday. That's so. But Sunday, wait, no, that was even that's Saturday. Sunday games. Oh, Sunday. It's just also for us at 4 p.m. So it will be a bit overlapping, but India versus South Africa will be covering, and then almost the last hour of that game going also, and Forest will kick off. But who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, who
It's South
cares? I mean, look,
Africa.
we're playing the bottom team in the Premiership. If we can't beat Nottingham Forest, then we have no
Then
right to
you
consider
shite,
ourselves title
then you
challengers.
rubbish, then you need to out of the league, get out of the league. Then, I'm gassed. I'm gassed for that game. Come on.
Yes. Yeah, we
Come
know
on,
you
the protest.
we know
Put,
you're full of hot we know you're full of hot air. You
put
are
King
gassed.
Coley in the split. Like, come on. So yeah, be up everyone. And yeah, we'll see you all on a later note. And yeah, tune in 8 minutes. There will be a basketball stream on the channel, so just stay tuned. I have scheduled. Go over to it. And yeah, just saying Arsenal will win. Of course they will. Will win. Come on, they're not Liverpool. Who bottles it against the relegation team. So be up everyone. Cheers. Come on the Proteas. Screw you, England. That's all. Cheers.
I think you're supposed to play the outro, Hanno. But if there's no outro, then I will say I'm out too. And I'm going to have the last word by saying, come on, England. Peace to all. Enjoy your evening. And I'm out.